Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your host, Kalder and This episode, we're going to be chatting all about the crazy cool stuff that happened in the world of Heroclix this last week, including but not limited to Origins, some new iconics that are coming out, as well as clarifying a few things about the newest Marvel set that'll be coming up after Black Panther, Collector's Trove. This is episode 523. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix
help.
I have the high ground.
Ooh, yeah, you have the high ground.
It's over, Simeon.
Yeah.
Instant deadpan humor.
Over six people think I am funny.
I'm your Captain America.
That was just you in a costume.
You absolute fool. Simeon will be able to edit that out.
That's cool because it's expensive.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that for everyone. Are you kidding?
Wow. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Use code DIAL5, DIAL5, for 5% off your Cool Stuff Inc. order. All that Weapon X goodness came out today. So, if you're buying some of that from Cool Stuff Inc., use code DIAL5. If you're getting it from shop.wizkids.com, then you can use code DIALH10 for 10% off your Heroclix order of in-stock items. Doesn't work with Iconics, other promos, etc., etc. It's kind of got to figure out the sweet spot where Dial H10 works. If it works, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Joining me in the studio is Simeon Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
Ooh, you know what's going on. Alex can laugh all he wants, but it's the
I knew you were going to say something.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say something about the weather.
It was too hot this week. That's all.
It was.
Yeah.
And then it was rainy. It's raining sideways last night. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's been a rainy summer.
Yeah. The heat plus humidity can cause some wacky weather stuff going on, but those hailstones, they melted almost instantly upon entering the 97 degree zone, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And you want to run down real quick what made you happy this last week, my man?
Of course. What made me happy this last week, got to play with some Deadpool Weapon X set. That was pretty fun, pretty killer. Ended up going 3-0 in the pre-release sealed that we ran.
Oh, nice.
So it was not a great team, and my pulls weren't excellent. I had Wolverine pool, which pretty decent. I had Sunspot. It was just like a very, very squishy team outside of Wolverine pool, who I think almost never got hit. Like, people just didn't want to deal with him. They just kind of like kept him at bay if they could. But no, I don't want to go into the full team or anything because it was sealed. It's not that amazing or anything. It was just Sunspot, top dial, hitting for a lot, and if he doesn't get hit, then he just keeps doing that. Wolverine pool and who's Shatterstar were just flurrying about. Shatterstar, very underrated and sealed. The ability to charge flurry and then mid-flurry, like your second attack, just be placed 4 squares away. Even if you don't want to attack someone else, if you just want to do that defensively, just place him 4 squares away, you can do that too. But almost always it was come up, hit one of their main people that they wanted me to hit. Second attack, I'm taking out one of their support figures for sure. Like, almost always. And then, it was like Jubilee with like a Perplex, Bob, Agent of Hydra with prob that I would say is... It's not really a problematic prob because you're almost always within range and line of fire of an opposing character. You almost always can be, so it's just prob. Like, yes, there's extra strings attached, makes it a little harder to use, etc., etc. But then also Hydra team ability. Sadly, his Hydra team ability trait, where he can give it to other Deadpool core, only affected one character on my team. So that didn't ever happen.
Nice.
I never even got the double Hydra off, like the -2 to someone's defense for a shot. But having a prob, a perplex, an outwit. I can't remember who that was through off the top of my head. But yeah, it was just that, and then 3 really solid attackers. It was just a pretty solid team, and I didn't run across like a prime rogue or any of the real sealed bombs that are just
Okay.
awful to deal with. There's no Old Man Phoenix pulled or anything like that I had to worry about. So, yeah. And then I pulled the Hellcow Legacy for...
Oh, nice. That's
for
right.
Rain,
I remember that.
And that was cool. I bought a bunch of shorts because it's summer and it's hot. You know what no one told me, no one informed me about shorts, what happened to shorts since the last time, probably like a decade since I bought shorts.
We got a lot shorter.
Yes.
They got a lot shorter.
I walked out of the store thinking, yep, these are all my size. Go home, put a pair on. Wow, that's a lot of thigh. I don't know who decided that, but...
Those, what are the 5-inch inseam shorts?
Yeah.
Is that... Oh,
I mean,
man.
I think most of them are 7, but like...
Oh, okay.
I think it's
Still.
a 7-inch inseam, but yeah, it's surprising, shocking even. I would not have been able to go to school in these. My teachers would have said, these don't go past your fingertips. Please leave the classroom. But no, it's even weirder when I sit down because it's just a whole lot of thigh.
Oh, a lot of thigh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, that also made me happy just being so out of touch with the current climate of fashion, I guess.
Out of touch. We're out of mind. Well, I don't know. Getting new clothes is always kind of fun, though. Kind of switching up the wardrobe, getting new things. And now you're hip with the kids nowadays, with your shorts, showing off your gyat, Simeon. Oh, I hated saying that.
I'm a real Rizzler right now.
Yeah.
Heading to Ohio to skibbity the Phantom taxes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to clip that. I know exactly who that's going to.
That made select people that I can think of right now very happy. Very, very happy. Oh my gosh. Hey, speaking of Ohio, this last weekend was Origins. That's too good of a transition to pass up. What made me happy this week? I went to a cosplay convention. I met anime voice actress, and I'm a weeaboo. But Origins, because the Ohio, Gibby Riz, Ohio is just too good to pass up. Hey, Origins happened. They were giving away Deadpool chase boosters. Oh boy, what's the price of a time breaker? $175. Wow, you don't say. Cool, very cool. Right on.
That's a bystander.
That's a bystander,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. And it's truly wild. So, who are your top 4? Well, first up, shout out Denny Boblick. Really cool team, taking the internet by storm. But congratulations on winning Origins. Good job. Second place, Jalen Major. Third place, Isaac AB. Fourth place, Emilio Gutierrez. Fifth was Daniel Powell. Sixth was Azith Strife. Seventh was PJ Bolin. And number 8 was Ethan Jacobs. That's your top 8 from Origins.
Did you look at PJ's team? I know you looked at Denny's.
I did not. I looked at Denny's and I looked at Emilio's team, which I really like because it is the prime Captain America on it from A60, which I thought was quite cool. PJ's team, what is he, number 7 here?
He's
also doing
running
a bit of
similar tech to
okay.
Denny ran, but he opted for a Man Thing, which Man Thing also
honestly
does the plant terrain.
I honestly think, like, again, there's no offense, but I feel like Man Thing is the choice, right? Because you just get to make those markers instead of like it taking a turn to get like all the markers over there. Instead, you can just like at the beginning, he places those plant markers, right?
Right.
Like this seems like a faster version of the team. Obviously, he didn't win though. No offense, PJ.
And I like Moriarty on the team too.
I like that. That's cool.
There's I mean, obviously if we're going to talk about any team, we should talk about Denny's, but
right.
Just like the similarities that like they were both playing the multiples of the Iconics Valentine's Day Poison Ivies. So Denny played 4, PJ played 3, and yeah, that's what everybody's been talking about lately.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
It's all over the place. His team build is also just super interesting. So yeah, it's 4 Poison Ivies. 1 has the red ring. He is playing that Harley Quinn that comes with them with the Blue Lantern ring and power. That's pretty cool. And then he has the Harley Quinn from Notorious, which I assume it's the whole, what is it? If you're a first player on opposing character's damage by friendly attack, you deal them an extra 1 unavoidable damage. They're KO'd. Okay, yeah, so I figured that's the main reason you're playing her. But then also that unique modifier, where if an opponent's force has more characters than yours, friendly characters modify attack and damage +1, which is really, really stupid good. So he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if that's low for today, honestly. 7-ish to 10 seems about right. 7 might even be on the higher end of however many characters are on a team. I feel like after Timebreaker comes out, that'll change, but
Yeah.
for right now, that seems actually like kind of a midline for the amount of people on a team. So maybe he's not exclusively using her for that. I don't really know his full strategy, but she is just another support empower, though, like a 25-point support that also... Well, ironically, it's unthemed, which is, I think, so interesting, and Iron Spider breaks themes. This is probably the one thing I can't wrap my head around.
Themed by 30 points. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I truly don't understand Iron Spider's involvement here, since they already all have Batman Enemy. They don't need Sinister Syndicate. And then if you're staying in your starting area, and again, there was no streaming, there was no recorded footage of any of the games this past weekend, so I don't know how this team actually played. I don't have a good grasp. I'm sure PJ Bolin, if he played against it, or if he talks about his team on Critical Clicks or something, you could definitely scratch his brain there. But I don't understand why Iron Spider's on this team. I don't know if there's just not any Gotham City or Arkham Asylum leadership, or what it is.
But they could also be...
Oh, it could be anything else, right?
It could be scientist. They all have scientist.
That's true.
I mean, well, they all... the 2 Harleys and the Poison Ivy.
2 Harleys and Poison Ivy, yeah. But, like, I feel like this can't... I don't know, breaking theme for Iron Spider, and then he's also your Prime. Not that you need Absorbing Man, but I feel like that's a more useful Prime. All I can see that Iron Spider gives is, like, doubling up on a way to replace attack values, and then the whole equipment thing. But again, that's within range. So I guess I don't fully understand it on this team. And then on the sideline, he had Amanda Waller, which is kind of neat. I think that's kind of funny, because, you know, he's got some Suicide Squad, he's got some Arkham Asylum people. And then, kind of to no surprise, I don't know if he ever played or what maps he played on, but Morlock Tunnels is one of his maps. I feel like a team that likes to sit in its starting area and attack you from across the map probably really enjoys Morlock Tunnels. So that makes sense to me that would be on this team. I don't know why it wouldn't be. I hate Morlock Tunnels, garbage map, but it's insanely good for this. But yeah, so congratulations, Denny. I think it's taking the internet by storm. It's quite the controversial team. It's pretty interesting. So I'm curious to see now that, again, that blows my mind that nobody played this like at Huntington's. No one played this at Adepticon. Like, finally, this is like seeing play. So I wouldn't say late into its lifespan, but, you know, middle of the year. It's kind of crazy that it's finally seeing play. So especially something that came out in February. So it's really cool. It's a really neat team. I'm curious to see. Obviously, I'm not pro effects that you sit in your starting area and attack me from across the map. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But now I'm curious to see how people like try to counter build this and kind of see, now that this is on people's radars,
my
see what
first
the reaction
thought when
is.
people were talking about this was like Merlin would like limit some of the interaction, not enough of it, I don't think.
There was
limit,
little
like,
Merlin, which was weird.
Yeah.
Like
then,
almost no Merlin, and also very little Mern, which I thought was odd.
What's her name?
For,
Jennifer Kale. Like, when did she fall out of favor? Like, I mean, obviously, like she never was like winning everything, but Jennifer Kale, unless you can just straight up poison through her, which you kind of can with that team, but if you can somehow keep her safe from poison, I feel like she's a pretty good answer to that team. Does it say on her combat values except range can't be modified? So they're not being modified, they're being replaced and potentially modified. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's like a defensive shell that this would not have an easy time to crack, but also who knows?
Also something that's, I think, really interesting in the top 8. There's no Prime Spider-Man. He's just not in top 8, which I think is really interesting. He's fallen out of favor this year. It's actually kind of crazy cool. There's not even a lot of Carnage Surfer until we get to, I think, Ethan Jacobs' team is the first person playing Carnage Surfer. That's kind of wild. Yeah, this is a really interesting. Well, this guy's got Azareth has Butterfly. Is he choosing Carnage Surfer? Oh, maybe not. Okay. But yeah, it's really, really interesting. Just team lists, I think, out of Origin. I think Origin's had maybe some of the most creative team building I've seen since like Adepticon and everything. So, which are obviously the 2 out of 4 major events that are like 300 modern. So, but yeah, super, super interesting. Everything that came out of Origins. The Mummy, the Bago Mummy was also spoiled. We're not going to get into it, but I believe that's up on HC Units as well to check that out. But we had a really cool news week. Ian and I over at Dial H got the opportunity to kind of be the first people to announce the Collector's Trove set and show off the 001 Collector. If you haven't yet, link in the description of the podcast, check out that video. But kind of the gist is we got to see some new sculpts, and the brick size for that Collector's Trove set is going to be 12 boosters instead of 10 boosters. It very simply just adds on the exact price of a booster. You can pre-order a brick of Collector's Trove for $203.88 on the WizKids website, it looks like. So yeah, it's pretty much... I don't like individual booster price did not go up at all this set. It's just since there's 2 extra boosters, there's that much more just kind of period. You're just paying for 2 extra boosters. But now their chase distribution, they kind of mentioned, and we go over it in the video, about having higher chances at like getting like a bunch of like a chase, a prime, and ultra chase all in like one brick, which is really cool. So there's going to be some wild like jackpot distribution is what they told us, which I think is really neat. As well as there's going to be a Collector's Trove Play at Home kit, which is going to have both Gamora and Nebula in it. So it's going to have 2 figures. It is also going to have, again, there are these new things called one-shots. Don't really know. They never really get into those. But this Play at Home kit is going to have a double-sided map, Gamora and Nebula, a terrain sheet, and a rivalry one-shot card. Whatever that is. So I think this is like fine for like a Play at Home kit. It's $25, so it's only, I guess Play at Home kit's like $10. So for $5 more, you're getting a second figure, and then you're also getting a little one-shot card, and you're still getting like the terrain sheet. You're still getting double-sided map. But then there's no legacy card. So the one-shot card is like taking the place of the legacy card. But I think for $5 more, getting an extra figure is pretty good for whatever Play at Home kits kind of are. It's like $20. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. They updated a few more things on the shop as well. We get to see Captain America in ice. From the ice, he gets 2 new pictures. We see a sideways Captain America encased in ice on a Twinkie base, which is hilarious. And then we see the sculpt, which for the most part, I really like this sculpt until I realized it wasn't his army greens that were tattered, but it's like seaweed, which is really weird and doesn't make any sense. So like I don't know if it was like the sculptor like looking at the picture for 2.5 seconds and be like, yeah, it's probably seaweed. He's coming out of like water and stuff. You know, all that seaweed that's in the Arctic. Super, super interesting. Again, if it wasn't for the seaweed, I'd really like this sculpt because it's a really cool unmasked Captain America. And he should be, because usually when he's taken out of the ice and however they do it in any kind of media, he's wearing like his army uniform and it's kind of tattered, not this seaweed. So I don't know if the person sculpting it didn't understand that it was his army uniform that was tattered or what it was. But that we do get to see the sculpts for Captain America Ice. I'm still excited for it. It just looks kind of weird that it's covered in seaweed. It just is very odd. And then another thing this is totally brand new this week, is the Sandman Iconics. So reading it comes with 1 Dream Heroclix figure. So I guess Mr. Sandman here, his name is Dream.
Yeah.
Apologies, Sandman fans. I haven't seen the show. I have not read any of the comics. I don't know. Did you read the comics, Simeon?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were originally
okay.
Vertigo run, and this is definitely the show Sandman, if anyone had any question of that, because this is not what Dream looks like in the comics. He's got like crazy hair in the comics and a really gaunt face.
This is very, very Karen hair.
It is.
This is
side. lead singer of some band I would have listened to in like 2006.
Oh, is this like Gerard Way or something? Very Gerard, very very My Chemical Romance, Take Me to the Black Parade, etc. All that stuff, Fall Out Boy, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it comes with
dream. No. Yeah, 3 objects.
Yeah,
which
3
is like
objects. Some sand, a pouch of sand that's being poured.
Yeah.
What there apparently is called the Dream Stone, and then Dream's Helm, which is like his cool gas mask thing.
The
and everything's
Dreamstone
kind of
actually. What's fun is like they retroactively. Man, I'm gonna get the lore a little bit wrong, but when this was first written, they retroactively like added certain things to this comic series that were like in main DC continuity. So I believe the sand, like the pouch of sand, like Sandman uses something similar to that at some point. He's got like the sleeping gas. That's the JSA hero.
Oh, so it's actually like the JSA Sandman is what it's a reference to.
Yeah, and then the Dreamstone. I can't remember who like steals it or has it at some point. But it does come into like play at a certain point in DC continuity. And yeah, so it's a fun little like crossover thing. But yeah, it's all sleepy time magic stuff. So. And then the helmet's just cool. It doesn't do anything. It's just cool.
It is pretty neat. Yeah, definitely when someone said, "Oh yeah, we're getting Dream's mask." This is not the Dream mask I thought it was going to be. That's for you, you children out there. If anyone gets that reference, popular streamer Dream and his mask and his terrible wrongdoing in his unmasking. Yeah.
In Wonder Woman 1984, the bad guy, gosh, what's his name?
Oh, Maxwell Lord?
Max Lord, but played by Pedro
Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro
lovable man, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, the device, the thing that he uses the whole movie is the Dreamstone, so.
Oh, really? Okay.
I swear there's a comic series where someone gets a hold of it and does similar stuff, but I can't remember. Oh, well.
Who knows? Yeah. But that's kind of all the new Heroclix that's coming out this week. We get to learn of a new set. We get to learn about some more iconics, which is really fun. And yeah, that's what's going on. We want to jump back into it. We might speed through this round of our favorite Heroclix of all time. We're almost into Silver Age. I honestly did not think this series would go on that long. It's kind of surprised me. But we might kind of speed round through a few of these. Maybe we'll stop. I don't know. We haven't been recording for too terribly long. We'll kind of see. We also got some listener questions we want to get to, so we'll kind of see how it goes. But we left off at World's Finest. And I don't really have too terribly much to say about my favorite piece from World's Finest, but it's just Element Man. I just always kind of liked him. Thought he was pretty cool. Played him in a WKO. Lost. Had a good time.
Yeah. Shout out to Mercury and Night Lantern. 2 figures that I made sure I owned and then almost never played. Let's see. I think the only figure that I remember getting from this set that I actually played a lot was... Oh, it was the Trinity. The super rares.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No. Pretty cool.
I don't know if they were the Trinity in this one, but the super rare Batman and the super rare
Superman.
Yeah. Pretty decent point values at the time, and by that I mean the world's finest duo fig was really excellent at the time, and
has aged even better.
Yeah.
It does an insane amount of things nowadays. Next up, and this kind of just goes for, I guess, all the Ninja Turtle sets, but Casey Jones in, like, every variation of him in, like, all the Ninja Turtles, I absolutely love. This first Ninja Turtles one was just great. He was a little 30-point beast that modified his, like, attack values by +1 when he was next to Raph. He could do, like, more close attacks and stuff if he hit. He was just, like, super fun, super cool version of Casey Jones, and... Like, yeah, that was just like a standout for pretty much all the Turtle sets, was like every KC that was in them.
Yeah. For me, it was the villains, and then the first set, the chases, the 4, gosh, what would you, like, sketch colors because like that was like their original appearance. They all had the same colored bandana, and they were all just black and white.
That was really cool. Yeah, the precursor to sketch variants, really.
But yeah, getting
That's sweet.
90s cartoon Krang into HeroClix was awesome. Getting like a lot of classic like turtle cartoon and more recent like cartoon stuff into Clix was pretty awesome. And then the figure that I used the absolute most out of any of the turtle sets was, I think, from Heroes in the Half Shell. Was that right? Yes, the 55-point Renee Tilly, who you could push.
Oh, yeah.
She had Phasing Passenger 4, which we love Phasing Passenger 4 here. And she had a way to push, which was called not having Indom at the time. And then she had a special damage power called Scepter of the Sands of Time, and she could use probability control regardless of range and line of fire. So turn 2, like turn 1 you carry him out, turn 2 you like move her somewhere else, clicking her back to that click 2, and then the whole rest of the game, if no one messed with her, you just had map wide prop, no matter where, no matter what, just had it.
She was a gnarly piece. She was such a pest to like play against. It's like, oh dang, my opponent is just gonna have map wide prob on me the entire game. This sucks. Yeah, she's so good. Uncanny X-Men is next up. I don't have a ton of favorites from Uncanny X-Men. I don't know who the Crimson Commando is, but I used him as my Santa Claus for one Christmas-themed game because he's kind of wearing a red suit. He's got some white hair. And then shout out the, like, whatever the common Wolverine was, who on his last click is like a 13 attack with flurry blades. That's awesome. I love that. No 12 attack on his dial. He jumps from an 11 to a 13, and that is sick. And I really, really dig that. And then negative points for Cameron Hodge for existing, for being
the super
disgusting and being a super. Oh, dude! Once you pulled him, you're like, God, this was my super rare. Just feeling deflated, just defeated, dude. You're like, oh, geez, I got Cameron Hodge. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
And he's gross looking, and I know he's meant to be gross looking, but he's just like, he's the worst. You would pull him and you'd be like, this is straight up garbage.
Cameron Hodge and Matt, the two that I never wanted to see.
Yeah, dude. Ugh. But that Wolverine, yeah, dude. Flurry, 13 attack, 14 defense, 1 damage. Battle Fury Blades, Flurry, that rocked.
Yeah. This set was not a huge hit for me, but I loved that we got a full set of, sub-theme of Marauders. Like, for once, we actually got almost all the Marauders, which was cool. A lot of them were really solid. Some of them even, like, more so later. The uncommon Wolverine, I love playing in Reverse Dial Knights. If no one wants to call you on it, then he has a trait where he basically just never dies and heals back to click 7, which on like a reverse dial.
Oh, it's click 1.
Yeah, it'd be click 1.
Nasty.
So like that's one of the ones that I always pulled out. And then I think that obviously great chase theme, really solid super rares outside of the 2, but like the Quicksilver, the Iceman, the Beast, those were all just really solid. I never really cared for Dark Angel being 200 points and just okay. Sure. But like that Iceman sculpt is awesome. That Quicksilver with the FX base.
Iconic.
Yeah,
so good.
I love that Quicksilver. I still have 2 because something about Hypersonic Flurry was just a real neat idea to me. But yeah, good set.
It was
Not
a cool
really
set
great for like the CUR, but otherwise, good set.
Yeah. I liked the all new X-Men being like a sub theme in the COR. Like that was kind of fun. Before we move on though, gotta shout out the Chase Magneto. He's so sick. It's crazy at the time. I was like, this piece is so busted, and now I look at his dial and I'm like, how is this 150 points? But at the time, this Magneto freaking rocked, and he was so freaking cool. The Captain America Civil War OP kit set, a very set. It was all the figures were very much designed for battle royale play, so they're very kind of point cost bloated. Outside of that, obviously my pick is Captain Iron America. This piece rocks. It's Captain America in the Iron Patriot suit with an American flag. Like this is just such a sweet figure. and was like almost one of the figures that my team was going to choose to like legacy before we chose the 036 What If Captain America. But like this guy just rocked. I still remember when he got previewed, we were hauling hay and I was like riding on the hay hauler, which you shouldn't do, kids. Not that anyone knows what half the words I'm saying mean. But I'm like literally scrolling on my like phone and I'm like, no way. And I just remember it getting previewed and I was like, this is so sick. It rocked. So yeah, Captain Iron America is definitely my pick from the Civil War set.
Yeah. I have to go with the Namor. Like, not just
Classic.
because I cosplayed him in the
Classic
Thursday
look.
Throwdowns, but yeah, the Atlantean warrior bystanders and the modifying of keyword thing. That wasn't like super common when he came out. Like bystanders, sure, but the map-wide modifying for this keyword, and granted, Atlantis still isn't a super strong keyword, but it meant like if you were playing a full like Dolphin, let's do some Atlantis stuff, you could play the DC Atlantis, the Marvel Atlantis, and then you could throw this guy on just to give everyone a +1. So yeah, that was probably my favorite. Guess honorable shout out to Night Nurse, but
That's fair.
yeah, not a lot else from the set that I really collected.
Superior Foes of Spider-Man. This set, first set with the new style of cards with like the dial on the back, all that stuff. Absolutely loved this set. This set ushered in a new era, and it was a great set to do it. Without a doubt. Like it had. Personally, I enjoyed that we got like a full set of Serpent Society, like not all of them, but a ton of the Serpent Society. They were really fun. I think there were amazing super rares as well in this set, and just like a lot of fun stuff. Mini honorable mention to Baron Zemo. He's not my number one pick, but this Baron Zemo is so fun. The fact that he map wide gave all like Masters of Evil and Thunderbolts +1 to attack and sidestep, that rocked.
Yeah, that sounds
my number one pick's Devil Dino though. This Devil Dinosaur is freaking awesome. Like the one that makes the drop airs and all that stuff. Like yeah, this Devil Dinosaur just rocks.
This set really had so few misses that like you could say almost anything. And like there's, from like a competitive standpoint, there's tons of stuff. From like Thug to Stiltman to Overdrive.
Stiltman, yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, just
Overdrive. Dang, dude.
Frog.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. It was just a loaded set, a great set. Like I loved playing Chameleon. I think Devil Dino is definitely my number one, but I want to shout out Chameleon because I really always wanted to get him to work, and he was one of those. He's kind of like what the Butterfly is now, just a lot more expensive and kind of worse.
That is, gosh, that's hilarious. Next up, Joker's Wild. Joker's Wild might be one of the worst sets of like all time. I think my favorite piece from the set was the Fast Forces Mr. Freeze, because he was really fun. So you would like, you would give a character a frozen token, and then instead of clearing, they had to remove a frozen token. So he was really fun to play on like a heavy in-cap team or whatever. So like now it's like, oh, now you have a frozen token, but then you're also double token. So you just have to remove your frozen token. Then next turn, you clear action tokens. It was like evil. It was a ton of fun. But he's like 100 points. He's got like no reducer. So I think he's like pseudo balanced in that way. But I loved this Mr. Freeze for his like his little frozen token. I like built with that a lot. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. I loved Robo Penguins.
Ooh.
Obviously the brokenness that was the Fast Force Penguin.
A little broken. A little broken.
Cool. No, all the super rares, like for being kind of what they were, they all have like a fun thing going on. I really loved the Killing Joke Joker, his stock click with Mastermind, 12 for 4 with ranged combat expert, sees through characters. Like, yikes! Like, what a monster on that last click. And if you had a way to like keep him alive by masterminding to people and like they couldn't deal him damage for whatever reason, then yeah, just 100% worth the 140 points. My favorite has to be Alan Scott. That I played 2 of those Green Lanterns for so many games, so many different teams, so many iterations. Like as soon as, let's see, what was the set right after this?
Deadpool and the X-Force.
Deadpool and the X-Force. It would have been two sets
TMNT
later,
3,
it would
I
have been Avengers Defenders War, 2 main sets later, where I really started playing 2 of these Green Lanterns on every team
Jeez. Dang.
for quite a while.
To get into, I guess, Deadpool and the X-Force, Cable's the GOAT. The common 014 body slide Cable. There's great figures, like shout out Squirrel Girl, shout out Swarm. Like, there's a lot of really fun characters. Shout out, of course, getting a modern Howard the Duck finally, and Hellcow, of course. Like, a lot of great figures in the set. But that common Cable, he rocked. Just the half-speed phasing, make an attack, an 11 for 4, Pensai prob, 7 range. You were just like, this dude is just a beast. Like, this Cable just is, he is awesome. He rocks. Like a standout Cable.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Merc with the Mouth, the first title character that we ever got, and
Here you go.
a very good version of title. Like, some of the title characters were misses, some of them didn't do quite as much. This just felt like a well-costed dial that was exactly what you would expect it to be, which was like a decent attacker, and all of his title abilities like made him do that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, he rocked. ADW, I got to give it to my girl, Sam Cap, 069 Captain America. She's the cheese. When she's carried, she gets to do an action. She modifies the carried character speed value +3. Yup, you carried her across the map, and then once they change that, ID cards can be brought in at any point in the game, not just at the beginning of your turn, which I'm sure is gibberish to new Heroclix players. She was just instantly broken, because any good ID card character was pretty much 70 points or less. Once we get to the X-Men set here, I guess, in a little bit, you'll kind of really start to see that's kind of when she really started to shine. But yeah, Sam Cap, she's a girl. She rocks.
Yeah, I have to go with... Man, there's so many good ones. The whole chase, well, not the whole chase set.
I liked the chase theme, though, of like weird alternate Avengers main Marvel characters. I thought it was a cool chase theme.
The Matt Fraction Hawkeye, the
great broken, busted.
OG endless shot Hawkeye helped win me a state tournament with that guy. My favorite chase, though, was definitely the Warbound Hulk.
Ooh, yeah.
Hits a stop click, gets +1 combat values anytime he's damaged from an attack, so you could potentially have +3, and then I'd slap the Blood Axe on him, keep using Colossal Stamina, because he doesn't, he keeps those increased combat values until he clears actions, so if you just kept using Colossal Stamina and hitting, which you normally would when you were a 14 for 8, like, you were usually just wrecking stuff, with Battle Fury, Exploit, and Steel Energy, so he would normally hit and heal and then take one, or whichever order that comes in. But yeah, my favorite chase, probably chase that I've played the most of any figure or any set, is that Hulk. And then shout out to all the Riders; those were cool sculpts. The
that
Ghost
was
Rider,
cool.
Valkyrie, Black Knight, yeah.
The What If and Elseworld sets were pretty crazy. The 15th anniversary ones. And I would be remiss to say that in What If, my favorite character wasn't, of course, the model for the Clixie, but the Ameridroid. And I really did. Ameridroid really is like my favorite character from this set. He was just like a blast. Not really from like a What If or anything, but I think they were kind of looking for an excuse to make like a giant version of a Marvel character, a giant version of a DC character for like the buy it by the case incentive. And so we got Ameridroid, we got like the giant Wonder Woman. But yeah, Ameridroid being a soldier retaliation, and then he was like mostly just used as like a placement thing, was a ton of fun. And I got to play a giant Captain America on my team. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it still is in silver, so
yeah,
still fun. For me, it's got to be, man, there's like 3 that really stick out, and so I'm not going to put them in any particular order, but Gertrude Yorks and Old Lace was one of those like don't die something kind of pieces, but it was the bystander that didn't die, which was like new and kind of cool. Cosmic Spider-Man just being throwback to like the see-through everything kind of zone, but with more economic lines if you wanted. And then absolutely the Peter the Hunter, where if you could get him to pop off, like being able to KO somebody and heal to click 1 when like they took like the whole game to get you down to like click 5 or 6 or something. That was always wild. And then creating those bystanders, which what more do you need than like a close combat piece, a range combat piece, an outwit, and then a random blades, you know. It was just pretty solid little bystander
for every occasion. From Elseworlds, there's the little DC version of What If. I was not as big on this. I did really enjoy the like Templar sub theme with like the Templar generics, the Oliver Queen Templar, like that was really fun. The Wild West sub theme with like Justice Riders, that was really fun. So, I don't know, probably a mix of those are probably my favorite things to like play from this set. Yeah, Oliver Queen Templar, I'll say he's my favorite. I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was pretty fun.
Wow. No love for the drummer?
The drummer? I almost said, what's his face? Elijah Snow for somebody in Planetary. That one was crazy cool. But Snow. But no love for the drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a set that I really enjoyed, like all the generics. I just didn't love most of the actual figures. Green Oracle, one that I got a ton of use for out of, I should say, the Green Lantern team ability, and then a 12 speed phasing. That was like literally the only thing that I used it for. She had Batman Family and Green Lantern Corps, so anytime I was running Batman Family, I was like, well, how am I going to carry 8 people up? Oh, that's right. Green Lantern, Barbara Gordon. And then, I guess the Tangent Green Lantern is what like people called her. It's just Green Lantern, but 042. The bring somebody back from the dead, or from like the KO zone or whatever for a single turn. That was just wild.
Why was she called Tangent Green Lantern? Like her name wasn't Tangent.
I think she comes from like the Tangent universe, I think.
Okay.
So it was more of like a comic reference that people would use, but
Gotcha.
I never saw her in comics. I never saw this character anywhere other than when people would find unique ways to like KO a bystander and then bring back like Surtur right in your face kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was wild. That was a little nutty.
Yeah.
The Undead set, again, Undead was like ushering in the era right before the Mighty Thor. So like Undead and Mighty Thor and like the Thor movie set, like it felt like they came out like almost. Oh no, actually, yeah, straight up, Undead and the Mighty Thor came out at the exact same time, August 30th, 2017. That's hilarious. It's like they literally came out on top of each other. Undead set, my favorite's just the skeletons. I army build them purely because I want to play like Army of Darkness kind of scenarios and have like all these skeletons fight like the castle. So I love the skeletons, the skeleton champion, the normal skeleton. Yeah, they're my absolute favorites from the Undead set.
Yeah, it's hard for me to pick a favorite out of like a best generics galore that like we've probably got in a single set. Just all of the characters are unique, all of them do interesting stuff, and then they had the quote unquote like better version, so like the zombie shambler, the skeletal champion, like werewolf alpha, all the different like boosted versions that were a little bit more expensive but you could use as like the general. So I'll say, just because he fit on more teams, I'll say Dr. Frankenstein with like the monster perplex support shenanigans. But all of the generics in the set, which was 90% of the set at least, was generics. That's what I'll go with.
And we have the Mighty Thor set, which ushered in that whole new era of rules. But the Mighty Thor was a cool set. It also like kind of brought in mass equipment for the first time. We saw like equipment in boosters. I guess we saw relics in boosters before, but like this is the first time we got equipment in boosters, which is really cool. But my favorite is without a doubt, it's the Prime Scourge, the whole last laugh marker. I played the heck out of this Scourge. It rocked. Like, from an iconic moment in comics that was then brought into like the Thor Ragnarok movie. It was Scourge and like the double M16s, Des and Troy and all that. Like, yeah, I played the heck out of this figure. I think I made top 8 in an Omaha. WKO, and then swiftly was out of top 8 after my first game, but playing like Scourge on that team just rocked. I absolutely loved Last Laugh Scourge. It's probably one of my favorite primes of just all time.
Yeah. No, this was a pretty solid set. Obviously, the super boosters and stuff, but it had generics, not a ton of generics, but it had generics. It had decent sub themes. We got the Scourge in its own way of Heroclix for 2 years, Unimind. How could we?
Oh, jeez.
My
That was the worst, yeah.
Yeah. My absolute favorite from this set, and it's so sad because he was so spendy. I pulled him twice, and I just couldn't hold on to him because of how much people were willing to pay for him. But Beta Ray Bill, like...
Oh, yeah.
I've played him enough times where I was like, yeah, like, I'll get rid of him because, like, literally, I think Beta Ray and Thor that came with
he was expensive. Yeah, dude, oh my gosh.
They both bounced between like 150 and 250 for like the longest time with their equipment. But Beta Ray Bill had weather manipulation. Opposing characters can't target Beta Ray Bill or friendly characters adjacent to him unless they began their turn within 4 squares of their target or are making a close attack. So this isn't like get within 4, then you can target. It's not Dolphin. It's like if you running shot into that 4 squares, you didn't begin within 4 squares, so you still can't target. You still can't outwit. You can't do anything. You have to begin the turn within 4 squares. I played a lot of Asgardian teams around this kind of mechanic where it was just huddle everyone up and didn't have to worry about a whole lot. I think Pulse Wave was the only thing that got around it, and yeah, pretty fun for me at least. Yeah,
he rocked. That was so good. Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls. This is a set that famously I wanted like 2 figures from, and then when we finally saw the full set, I was like, "Yup, still just want 2 figures from it." But for the longest time, I think the year before this, in like 2016, if you were in any like 2016, yikes! If you were in any comic book group on Facebook, Kite Man, hell yeah, was just a total meme in like all of these groups. And it rocked, and it just made me a Kite Man fan. So like for months and months and months, I was like, please, in this Harley Quinn Gotham set, please have Kite Man. And they did it. The crazy son of a guns, they actually did it. So Kite Man is like 100% my pick for this set. And he was just stupid simple. He's Kite Man. It's all he had to do is just exist. That's all that mattered. He's like literally just passenger 2. Like, he was so goofy, so silly. But I love Kite Man. Famously, I shouldn't say famously because it's not famous, but I did beat Unimind with a Gotham City team that had Kite Man on it later the next year at Gen Con, which rocked. So yeah, Kite Man is my 100% pick from Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. There's, gosh, honestly, a lot of really good stuff in this set. My number 1 pick, I want to say Nightshade because I probably used Nightshade more in like an era before we had everybody.
I remember when you playing Nightshade with the Green Lanterns and Tri-Sentinel. I remember that team
because she was one of the few characters, almost probably at the time one of the only characters that could place something that was a 2x2 or larger, because telekinesis couldn't do it. So yeah, she could yank a Tri-Sentinel 5 squares up, placed adjacent to her and hindering. So that was really cool. King Shark doing a similar thing but with himself and water was really fun. I really liked the bombshells. I collected all the bombshells. So yeah, that was pretty solid. And then I probably shouldn't even like mention the title Harley Quinn because she only got used on ID cards, but yeah, I did enjoy her effects. So
yeah, it was gross. King Shark's cool though.
Yeah.
Gotta shout out King Shark. He rocks.
Yeah, that full... Even... I really wanted him to work because I thought it would be really cool to move full speed, flurry somebody 11 for 4, and people were like, no, you do the full move, and then you call in an ID card. And I was like...
yeah.
I guess.
So gross. ID cards just... Man, speaking of ID cards ruining the fun, X-Men Xavier School came out in February of the next year and revolutionized ID cards. Not only did it add 3-point ID cards to the game, which was so necessary, we so needed that, but also it added 5-point Headmaster ID cards, which had some of the, like, just literally the best call-ins. Wolverine and Cyclops being the two that both had 50-point call-ins. Both the Super Wolverine and the Super Cyclops were just insanely busted at 50 points with, really good inspirations. Yeah, just actually kind of insane that those were allowed to exist. But my favorite piece from X-Men Xavier School is what many would probably say is the worst piece in the set, and that is Professor X Dreamer. I loved ID cards. I loved Professor X Dreamer. Yes, he is counterintuitive. Him being not an attacker and just kind of being forced to take damage was really rough. But I got second at a sealed WKO using Professor X Dreamer, so I had a lot of fun. I personally enjoyed Professor X Dreamer. He only ever died in like 2 games, like the 2 games I lost. So that was really cool. But yeah, I super enjoyed him. I understand that he's bad. I know that he's bad. But you could at least heal him up with X-Men, which made it slightly better. And then if you could ever do like the dream of a peaceful coexistence, which I did in 1 game, since he starts with 3, so you could kind of get these racked up a little bit. But for the rest of the game, as long as Professor X Dreamer's on the map, friendly characters reduce damage taken by an additional 1. By that point, it was like you just literally couldn't even damage me, which kind of rocked. So, yeah, Professor X Dreamer. I understand that he's bad. I know that he's bad, but I love him.
Yeah, it was not a perfect set, but this was a great set in my opinion. And I still play some of the pieces out of the set because they were just very well designed at the time, and like they still hold up. One of my favorites, I built a team. It was just X-Men team, but it was like random Golden Age, Silver Age, whatever mixed in. Abigail Brand gives everyone with the X-Men the shield. I think if they have the X-Men team ability or the keyword, they get the shield team ability. The rare Professor X that can mind control everyone, but they can only do move actions. But like still, it's like regardless of range or regardless of line of fire, anyone within range, boosting him to an 11 range, pretty easy with Abigail Brand and pretty insane. Cyclops also 8 range, becoming like an 11, maybe take a few power actions to bump his damage up. But no, my 2 favorites from this set were obviously the Headmaster Wolverine, just a very well designed triple stop click, was not something that was super common, something that makes a lot of sense for Wolverine. Headmaster traits, very cool. I really liked it. And then the Old Man Logan, I hadn't had the convention exclusive one by the time this one came out, so I got this one, and he is one of the first ones that just gave adjacent friendly characters combat reflexes if they were less points. Now we've got good old, what's his name, Manifold? Is it Manifold? Yeah, Manifold from X of Swords. He does that for like less than half the cost of this.
Wait, yeah.
But no, this was one of my favorite pieces in the set. I would often build teams around giving everyone combat reflexes just because I liked his mechanic.
I loved that Old Man Logan. He was, again, for all like the same reasons that you mentioned, just like never actually getting like the convention exclusive and being like the easier like one to like actually have. But yeah, giving everybody like combat reflexes, that was super fun. The whole longest road trip, hilarious trait. I love that. But yeah, this Old Man Logan was just, he's awesome. The Avengers Infinity set, the very first set that had 2x2 figures in the main set. Truly a wild time to be alive. Yeah, my top pick, it's got to be Groot. Groot just rocked. And that's like such a meta whatever answer, but I mean, he defined the generation he was in, man. Like automatically, here's your Dr. Leslie Evans Pog, whatever, I'm gonna make my Walking Woods. Before you could just start equipped, you would of course use the Walking Woods to like go and get your equipment. He was a 20-point leadership for monster teams. This Groot was just, he was awesome. he was insanely awesome.
Yeah, I agree. This was definitely like a fairly meta heavy set. I'm gonna go with, man, really all the 2x2s deserve like a shout out, because like
They really do.
one way or another they were really
They were the
fun.
highlight for sure.
I'll go with Star Fox for similar reasons. I loved playing Tigra and Star Fox because playing them together, they have the traits where they couldn't be the target of an attack with more than one target, and then they all had Stop Mastermind, and then Star Fox had the way of like the virtue of life, which they all had. If they roll a certain number, his was 4. After resolution, something would happen, and his was you heal each friendly character 1 click if they're adjacent to another friendly character. Didn't have to be next to Star Fox, just if they were next to someone else. So I loved putting him and Tigra next to each other. If he got knocked down to his last click, then he would just mastermind to Tigra, and they couldn't be double tapped, they couldn't be outwitted, you couldn't energy explode them, you couldn't do like any of the normal ways that you'd get rid of or around mastermind. You didn't work on these two. So I really liked that. And then I really liked Tigra because if she hit her 3, you could charge and get Blades Claw's Fangs. So that
was
Professor
cool.
X I was just talking about, there was a game where I gave him charge from Tigra, and that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, Rare Professor X putting that work in.
Yeah. Had
Batman.
slapping on those murder ball wheels.
Little Batman the Animated Series are very... this is our first animated series set, I think, ever. Iconic in his own right, with the chases being all of the Super Friends, which is really, really cool, as well as like a lot of really great villains. But overall, my favorite piece from this set isn't actually a figure, but it was one that I played a ton, and I still reach for it in Silver Age games, but it is the Venom harness. I absolutely love the Venom harness. As somebody that is likes to find fun reasons to try to deal their characters damage, or again, just giving yourself +1 all stats in Battle Fury is so good for your close attacker. It's literally just so sick. I love the Venom harness, and it rocked, and I love playing it. So yeah, Venom harness is easily my favorite thing from the Batman the Animated Series.
Nice. Yeah, for me, it's the figure I played the most is definitely Zatanna.
Okay.
Generate some bats. The bats both have enhancement and shape change. They're just like little tiny things. They don't really do a whole lot other than that, but shape change kept them around long enough. Enhancement made them really annoying, and then she had perplex and prob on the same click, or on her top dial, so you could perplex someone down, you could double enhance them, like perplex a defense down, double enhance your like your shooter, and then have a prob on the attack. So it's just like all those things. Very very good little piece. Really enjoyed it.
Secret Wars Battle World. This set I personally really enjoyed. I played an insane amount of battle royales at the Rock Cup the year this set came out, where I kind of basically just burnt myself out on this set. But my absolute favorite thing, to no surprise if you know the set, is the Captain America shifting focus characters. Probably the 001 Captain America being my favorite. It's the most kind of normal feeling Captain America. I always liked him. He had a really neat trait where he could choose to have running shot or close combat expert. But back then, it was still a power action for close combat expert that didn't get changed until Wonder Woman. So, but man, now it makes me want to really play him. Because before, it's like, okay, if I'm already next to somebody, yeah, I'll go close combat expert, and then I can punch him. I can be like a 12 for 5 or something crazy, right? Or it's like, okay, well, I need to close the gap. I'll choose running shot. I've got an 11 square reach, got 6 range, I got 9 speed. I'll choose running shot, and then I'll switch or whatever. So it was a really fun little shifting focus between the three of them. One being very defensive, this one being your offensive one. The World War II one being a very kind of weird leadership-y piece. But they were all very fun. I really enjoyed them. And now I'm gonna have to give this guy a try again, because now he's just a 13 for 4 or 14 for 4 if he's punching someone he chose for Avengers, which is just ridiculous, which kind of rocks. So, but yeah, Secret Wars Battle World, love the shifting focus cap set.
Yeah, another set that I bought a lot of. This was Team Sealed in 2018. at Worlds. I can't remember.
Yeah, 2018.
2018 Worlds.
Yeah.
And we got top 8. I can't remember. We made the cut for top 8. I don't remember what we ended up placing, but I played Spider Queen at 200, and then Iron Goblin at 100, and both very solid pieces and sealed. Just, they do what they do. But no, obviously my favorite piece, the one that I ran into the ground in multiple tournaments, was Witch Queen LeFay. I loved the Battle World trait, the Untamed Weirdness trait, and then just the ability to have every speed power except Stealth and the bad one Earthbound neutralized. So yeah, it was like you get Flight, you get Flurry. Let's see, Sidestep. Throw some WWE on there, and all of a sudden you got Nimble, you got Flying Leap, you've got Hypersonic, you've got Force Blast, Mind Control if that tickles your fancy for whatever reason. No, I really heavily enjoyed playing this piece over and over again, so that's got to be it for me.
Absolutely. EarthX, this was like one of the sets I was probably the most hyped for. I absolutely loved EarthX. Sadly, they ruined it by putting a ton of Spider-Man garbage in that set. I really wish they would have filled out more of like the EarthX storyline. There were still a lot of characters that weren't made at the time. They've went through and they made a few more, which is nice. But originally when the set came out, I do remember just being like super disappointed in like not having nearly as many like EarthX stuff. But did get the second title character ever for Captain America Resilient, and I absolutely loved old Cap Resi here. He, like, I think I said it at the time where I'm like, I'm literally going to play this guy on almost every team until he rotates, which I basically did. So I love this version of Captain America. I won a States with him. I played the heck out of him. He was just so freaking fun. He was probably one of the most comic accurate figures they ever made, like, too. Just the whole journey thing, the protected mind control, if you KO someone, you can like teleport to another like square where he was kind of like coming out of like mud, kind of weird, where he's kind of hiding or whatever. It's kind of neat. So always just super enjoyed this guy. He was super fun, solid sculpt, and just a super fun, just crazy fun piece. Like easily like a top 5 of all time favorite figures.
Yeah. Great equipment in this set too.
Oh yeah,
it's like wild that the one equipment that would absolutely break Vulture the most was in the same set as Vulture Prime himself. But I'm gonna go with the figure that I probably played the most, built around the most. That's a lie, because that would be Vulture Prime, but I don't want to speak of that time. Casually, the one that I built around the most was the EarthX Iron Man 056. With his special map, his bystanders. If you could get him on the correct map and have the bystanders, it was just a ton of fun.
Yeah,
getting knocked to that colossal click where he's an 11 for 4. It doesn't sound that intimidating, but then you've also got all these Iron Avengers surrounding you by this point, so it's pretty fun.
The Rebirth set. This was like 2019. Yeah, 2019. Rebirth was pretty fun. I never read a lot of the Rebirth comics, so I was never terribly attached to any like one specific like figures in the set. But I did really enjoy the Lex Luthor that we got and how he took like a maximum of 1 damage from the first attack that hit him each turn. I thought that was really cool. And he was like a ton of fun. He was like a protected outwit piece. That was like a really good outwitter himself. Just like a really simple, fun piece. So I always like that Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I have to go with, gosh, if it's not Dolphin, it's maybe one of the Outlaws. I really liked the Outlaws.
Okay.
Mr. Oz was like really solid too. But
when we got here, I was like, Simeon's either going to choose like Dolphin or Prez. That was where my mind was at.
Oh, I forgot about Prez. Dolphin was one of like the most non-generic figures that I wanted to play in mass numbers. Prez is like the figure that I absolutely put on every team, because at the time, doesn't count for or against theme team, had traded leadership, 18 defend, just why not? And then like his leadership was insane. Yeah, succeeding and being able to remove as many action tokens from opposing characters as you could, and then remove action tokens from friendly characters that were close enough. It's like, he's what made WWE at the time.
Oh, yeah.
The rule change. He's what made WWE really, really kick it into high gear, just popping off signatures every other turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Prez rocked. I absolutely love that, Pete. And that was a Mexican Nationals champion chose to get him made. I think he's like a winner from that or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty cool. ABPI, that was our Nationals set in 2019. Absolutely set of the year instantly. I loved ABPI. It was easily some of the most like fun sealed play I ever had. It just rocked. It was probably the best I ever pulled in a set where I got all of the gems and the Ultra Chase Thanos out of like a case and a brick, which was just insane pulls. So I super enjoyed the unboxing I did of ABPI as well. But yeah, of course, my number one favorite figure is Captain America. But like this rare version of Cap is not only one of the best like basic sculpts, but it's probably like the best like just comic accurate good Captain America dial that we ever got. So ABPI gets major props for that because this figure just rocks. He played well. He played how you want Captain America to play, and he was just a ton of fun.
Yeah, this was an awesome set. There's too many figures for me to shout out like special moments for, because I played a ton of this set, and I still play a lot of the figures from this set. But there's an easy one that I played the most of, and that is Rune. For whatever reason, for better or worse.
That's right, Rune.
I loved playing 85-point Rune plus 15 points for the Infinity Gauntlet. So he was 100 points. And what did he do? Well, he was a vampire dial, so he usually just died and cost me 100 points. But he had Steel Energy. When he used it, he could heal past the starting line. And if you hit an opposing character that was 100 points or more or had the Power Cosmic Team ability, once per turn, he could heal an additional click. So you could go from click 4 to click 2 with one hit. But if you were playing the Infinity Gauntlet, you could pick Flurry with your charge and potentially get to click 1 with one set of attacks. And that was all I needed to be sold on him. So I still have probably the most out of any set. I have this one still like saved up. Like I have not gotten rid of any figures other than like duplicates, and I still have 2 runes because for some reason I just can't quit you, Rune, you weird cosmic vampire man.
It was a pretty fun piece. X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga. Now this is a set. This is a set of all time right here. I've got to say it, to the man that's banned and everything, the most broken Heroclix figure, just, I don't want to say ever made because that's just straight up not true, but he caused so many problems, just so many problems. Jason Wingard, I still, like, he's evil. He's bad. He's a bad man. He's just broken, but I love him. And yeah, I love him. I played this piece so many times. I love Jason Wingard. The making bystanders rocked. That's what I mostly used him for, because honestly, I can never remember where I actually mind control chained, where it like actually did anything like all that good for me. Anytime I would mind control chain, it'd be like I would succeed at hitting the mind control, and then I would miss with the character, and then I would succeed at hitting the mind control, and then I would miss with the next character, and I was like, this just sucks. I'm so mad. So like the mind control chains never were all that great for me with Jason, ironically. But making the bystanders, that was easily my favorite part about this guy. And then just every time you looked at his card, you were like, oh, of course he just has more powers. Also, somehow, some way, the dude is 75 points, and he's only 5 clicks of life, and the only defense he has top tile is shape change. But he just like never died fast. Like he never died easily. It was so weird. Yeah. It was such something weird about Jason Wingard, where it's like
to cross the map and get to him. Just
you could stay back pretty dang far, but that is true. What about you? What's your pick for old X-Men animated series, Dark Phoenix XDPS or Xmas?
Another solid set. I've played a ton of stuff. But it has to be, as the proprietor of Tendigo, it has to be the Wendigo. Yeah,
of course.
The 15 point, no other point value for this guy. No, these days in my retirement, I have opted to play him at higher point values. I have the Tendigo. I only have 2 Wendigos now.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, but playing these guys
Twin-go.
at 15 points, insane. Insane. You could get potentially 4 attacks with 1 character in a turn, and like that's just with good stats. 11 for 3 with exploit. That was like the top dial. You could heal obviously past that stop click and into like further into the dial, but really it was just the absolute threat, the menace that was this 15-point monster that people knew if they didn't take it out, then it was going to cause some amount of damage somewhere. But as far as the non-colossals went, the Danger Room constructs, very cool.
Those were all really fun to play.
Yeah.
Okay, WWE. This is like a choosing your favorite child almost in this set. This set rocked. Honestly, if you enjoy wrestling in any sense at all, maybe you're not even like the biggest WWE fan necessarily, but if you ever have like any enjoyment at all with wrestling, like just pick up the entire WWE set. It's not that expensive, I don't think, to get like all of these characters. This is like, I don't know, the atmosphere when this first got announced, trying to like, guess like which of one of your favorite wrestlers or who was all going to be in the set, and like getting so excited for it, just the hype around it. And there were a lot of naysayers. Don't get me wrong. At the time, there were so many people that were mad that WWE was getting in Heroclix. You just kind of had to tune those people out. Those people are losers. Those people aren't cool. I don't want to be friends with those people. I want to be friends with the people that are like, yes, Roman Reigns should be in Heroclix. This rocks. So the WWE set was just amazing, though. Just getting hyped for it. It finally coming out. It being freaking pulp legal for some reason, or popper legal at the time. That was wild. And then just playing the heck out of this set. It was so fun. And every time you played it, it was always like your opponent had no idea what they did. And that's like true throughout WWE's entire lifetime, which is so sad.
Up until the last tournament where they were still, the last tournament I played in, I should say, where they were still legal. That was in Kokomo. I don't remember what year that was. 21?
That was probably 2021, yeah.
Yeah, I was playing them in that, and even having been out for as long as they had, people still had no idea. Like,
just didn't know.
What is slam? What is slingshot? What is nimble? What are all these things? Submission hold? What do you mean that does free damage? Like, well, it's like poison, but worse, but better.
Yeah, being like nimble's like sidestep. It's only one square, but I got improved movement. Or like, oh yeah, this is like poison, I guess. Yeah. But my favorite it's got to be Macho Man Randy Savage. I love that piece. I think he's so fun. The whole flying elbow where he modifies his damage if he's like next to ropes, or by like how much more he hit over your defense on like the dice roll. That rocked. So I love Macho Man Randy Savage, like the double perplex, everything. So he's got to be my favorite. Simeon, I think I know your favorite, but
it's tough. It really is. Because I almost never played these two separately. But yeah, the shout out will go to Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
The triple flurry and the prob that could reroll 1 die. Man, I loved finding ways to give like Eddie charge, or just using his flying leap. And then that triple flurry ability, just insane. Like, still to this day, like, I love playing this guy because 3 attacks for 70 points, pretty insane. And then obviously my girl Asuka, like,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Asuka lock.
Yeah,
just insane amounts of free damage for 40 points. And she got played with Witch Queen LeFay as mastermind fodder because most characters only do like 3 printed damage, and Witch Queen would say like, you can't boost that damage, so like, give me the 3, and then she would pass it on to Asuka, putting her on the can't shoot me, can't outwit me, I have an 18 combat reflexes, and if I KO stuff, my combat values are going up. Like, gosh. Asuka was like, she was a world apart from a lot of the other WWE.
She was gnarly.
Everything she did. It was kind of crazy. Like, for not knowing who she was before I bought the whole set, so like whatever. Started like watching some WWE, got excited, and then I was like, I need to watch some like highlight reels of her. I was like, wow, I cannot believe that she's more impressive as like a Heroclix than like the Undertaker point for point.
Yeah,
you know, like
that is like just insane. That was another just weird thing with WWE was the some characters' power levels compared to like others seemed just wild for like their actual in-ring or like in-life presence. Always kind of seemed kind of insane. But yeah, Undertaker was still solid, but Asuka was like, yeah, I think I don't know if we were talking or somebody else said, but like the whole Asuka like gaining her like tokens and stuff would have been great as like a Undertaker like streak like effect for like Undertaker, but
or just like Undertaker through like go to like the biker persona, the weird like hooded cult persona, and then back to like undead wizard guy. Yeah,
right. The Captain America set started off a little February 5th, 2020 action. This was a set I was super hard on it when it came out, and I'm still kind of hard on it. The set is it's just not a Captain America set. It just doesn't have enough like Captain America characters and allies in it. It's more of like I don't know, feels more like an Iron Man set with how many like just Iron Man characters in this. Just mostly it's the super rares are like my biggest problem. The fact that there's like no Steve Rogers in the super rares at all, and the only Captain America related characters are like MODOK and Baron Zemo in the super rares. Felt like the Thunderbolts took up too much space. This Spider-Man has nothing to do with this set at all, but he's in it. There was like a lot of problems with this set that I had personally as like obviously an Ultra fan, but I still played a heck out of it. I played like War Machine, Punisher War Machine a lot. I played the Blade, the Earth X Thor a ton. Gotta shout out Machine Smith in the super category. He rocked. Of course, Josiah X, he rocked. All the Isaiah Bradleys in it, they rocked. The Captain Americas we did get, loved all of them. But my favorite piece is the Captain. That was a HeroClix want for pretty much ever since I started playing the game, was a version of the Captain that doesn't have Mjolnir. Because we had gotten 2 versions of the Captain that both had Mjolnir. But again, that's only like one Thor comic that happens in. So, albeit it's an iconic moment for sure, but I did really just want a version of the Captain where he is just Steve Rogers as the Captain. And we got that. And I think it's a very solid representation of that character with the abilities he has and what his dial like represents. So I was really happy with this version of the Captain, and it's easily my favorite piece from the set.
Yeah, this was a really fun sealed set, which is sad.
It was an insane sealed set. Absolutely nuts.
But, gosh, I think it's probably the Melter with the ability to destroy Walt.
Ooh, yeah.
No, I think it's got to be Captain Marvel for me.
Oh yeah,
the one that I just played the most of. I really wanted Blade to be cool and like work. Maybe Songbird. I played quite a bit of like her with the Thunderbolts and Masters of Evil. Her like 30-point line was kind of insane, but no, yeah, Captain Marvel with the Chewie bystander, just it made it to a lot of people's teams. I don't think that'll be a surprise to anyone that played around this time, but it was just a very good version of Captain Marvel, like a very good Carol Danvers, like not like binary, not whatever, just very strong, not like insane, just able to do quite a bit. The only thing that made it like really insane was dropping off a cat that had flurry and blades and perplex and giant reach 2 and yeah, all that stuff.
Nah, she was super fun. I mean, a meta staple. She rocked. The next set, Justice League Unlimited. It's 40 cakes Lex Luthor. The fact that this even exists is just so freaking hilarious. Yeah, the Lex Luthor chase. He was the what is called Legion of Doom version of like the Troublemakers versus the what's it called, like the Super Friends. So these guys came in when someone like missed a bunch of attacks, or sorry, when you hit a bunch of attacks or crit hit, and then boom, you bring them in. So kind of, oh wow, on HC Realms is really funny. Whoever just copy and pasted the Brainiac text on this guy, so it says Brainiac. Oh, literally never noticed that. That is hilarious. But his whole thing was that whenever someone rolled a 10, you gave Lex Luthor a cake token. And if he hasn't removed one this turn, if he has 4 or more cake tokens, for the rest of the game, he has when a friendly character attacks, before the attack roll, you can remove a cake token. If you do, the minimum result of that attack roll is a 10. that rocks. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So just giving out cake is so freaking funny. And of course, if you're aware of like the old meme in this like DC, the math for kids book or whatever it was, but it was the whole thing is like all these random little made up scenarios where Lex Luthor stole 40 cakes. That's as many as 4 10s, and that's terrible. And the fact that that made into Heroclix is so awesome. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, that we got. Was this the beginning of getting like meme stuff? Like,
It very well might be. He was definitely one of the first, like, oh, that character is a meme. Like, that's a meme effect.
Yeah, because
That sure as heck might be. It was before,
Shaggy, before
pointing
Invincible
Spidey,
John
all
Cena.
that stuff.
Oh yeah, pointing
Yeah.
Spidey, yeah.
It honestly, that might be the start of like the meme references and clicks. I might have to dig maybe a little deeper and try to figure out. There might be some flavor text on some old cards that might have some memes in there. But yeah, this is one of the most notable, like, oh, that's based off a meme.
Yeah. Oh man, from Justice League Unlimited, I didn't buy a ton of this set. I bought it like secondary market, like singles, because I just wasn't like super in love with the CUR, but turned out joke was on me because those team up cards went for quite a bit of money. I think my favorite piece from this set was probably the redid version of Batman Beyond. I liked the common, but this one was just slightly better, slightly more powerful, just did more stuff.
And then in the middle of the year, we got the Fantastic Four set back after however long, for those listening to this series, however long it's been since we got a Fantastic, almost like 10 years or something. And then, yeah, the Fantastic Four set had a bunch of crazy cool stuff. It almost went to Super Skrull as my favorite pick, and I do really, really, really love Super Skrull, and I own like 3 of him, and he was so fun to play, and I played him on meta teams for a long time. But I think my all-time fave has to go to Dr. Fantastic. The fact that he could make the Franklin Galactus, which was a just ridiculous bystander, the fact that Galactus needed a little caveat, a little thing, so that way you couldn't make him with Jason Wingard at the time. But he was just a ton of fun, because every time you outwitted or perplexed, every time an opposing character used outwit, perplex, or prob, you just made a Doombot. So it just got so out of hand so fast. You were just like, oh yeah, you want to prob that? Are you sure? You sure you want to out my defense? Are you sure about that? Well, and then you just make a Doombot. It rocked. So he was a ton of fun. Also, shout out Lucas Van Holland during his like wedding, while we're all like waiting in like the church and stuff. I'm kind of scrolling on my phone, and I don't remember who it was at the time, but someone at WizKids had like went live and was showing off some random things from Fantastic Four, and I was trying to pause the video just right to read, because they didn't really focus too much on Franklin, but he was reading the front of the card, and I was trying to read the Franklin bystander text to see if he could, like, if he died, if like Dr. Fantastic wasn't on the map, which is again the case of what happens, because we saw the text for Franklin or the stats and powers for the Franklin bystander like months beforehand at like Gamma or some random Heroclix event. And we were all on the edge of our seat being like, there has to be some caveat. Like, there's no way you can print this bystander in the world of Jason Wingard. This is insane. And yeah, we're all like in a pew, like surrounding my phone, trying to read this card. And it's just hilarious. And like, yeah, there's some old people and they're like, what are you guys doing? The wedding is whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand how important this is. And it was really funny because like Lucas was then also there, and it was his wedding, and he was like, yeah, this is actually really important. We need to see what he does. So it was just a great time. But you really liked the Fantastic Four set, so I'll let you.
I did. The shifting. I don't know if this was the first set that had the like rebuild, like this was like rebuild the Fantastic Four.
Pretty sure the swap, all that stuff. I think this has got to be the first set.
Yeah, and man, this one set you could pretty much. I guess I don't think it was ever quite done, but it was very close with this one set to making a meta viable, like tournament decent, like swap team for that. I think based on that alone, one of the figures that just, in my opinion, was like required for any Fantastic Four theme team period, it was the rare Franklin Richards. Like, on his own, on a non-theme team, still really good. But on a Fantastic Four theme team, anyone that was Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares, they got Power Cosmic, which just insane to like hand that out to basically like half the set, over half the set. And then they choose 3 standard powers. There was like, you deal damage, unavoidable damage equal to half the d6 result at the end of the turn, but being able to be like, I want to charge Flurry Exploit, and then just that was like, an 11 for 4, and he was just very solid for 65 points, not like broken, just really fun, really good. And then I guess special shout out goes to Black Leopard for just absolutely nerfing any one-man army for 50 points. I played a Fantastic Four swap against the Chase in the set, God Emperor Doom at 300, and Black Leopard just was like, oh, hey, really nice stats you have there, Top Dial. It'd be a shame if they were 50 points worth of Top Dial stats.
Be a shame if they were garbage. Be a shame if they were just some of the worst stats on the planet.
And then you just watch your opponent like whiff every attack for the rest of the game with their one character they have, which was so sad, but like also just like, what a good prime, man. For like a
he really was such a good prime though.
Yeah, we don't see common primes anymore, but
oh dude,
man.
Especially in that era where a common prime was just like a death sentence if that was what you got in your brick, because usually the common or uncommon prime are just like garbage, like for the most part, like the common and uncommon prime were just like really bad and they were never really worth anything. But like this one in Vulture Prime coming out, like relative time, being like, these primes are insanely good. Like, Black Leopard, so good, so stupid good. Spider-Man and Venom, absolute carnage. This is a set I actually bought a lot of only because I wanted to get a bunch of the chases. I think the chase theme in Spider-Man and Venom, absolute carnage. We saw it spoiled sort of the year before at Worlds, which is really cool that like these ideas for chases were going to be original characters that WizKids had like made up. And there were combinations of a spider person and then like some of them were historical figures, some of them were just more like historical like ideas, like types of people. It's kind of cool. My favorite piece though is Spider-Man 1776. So 2099 mixed with George Washington, and it rocked because at the time being a generic theme team got you nothing versus being a named theme team got you like, well, being a generic theme team did give you a plus bonus to map. But being a named theme team got you like 3 to 5 theme props. I forget exactly where at in the rules changes we are at this point. But you got about 3 or 5 theme props for being a named theme team. And my favorite keyword of all time was soldier. And so it always sucked when they changed during the Mighty Thor that generic theme teams would no longer get theme team props. It really hurt. Really was a bummer for me as someone who liked playing generic theme teams more than named theme teams. But then 1776 made all of your soldiers Spider-Man family. So you could use this to cheat soldiers onto Spider-Man family or Spider-Man family characters onto a soldier team. But I personally just love doing it for just to make my soldier theme teams just a named theme team. So I really like that was my favorite part about him. But then he just straight up had some broken abilities and like could limit your action total. If you play 2 of this guy, it just like automatically you had only 2 actions for the opponent, which was just insanely strong. Eventually they changed him to where they only got -1, and then you had to be within range for like the leadership autonomous thing. Or no, what was it? He had a hit. Yeah, so it's when he hits, then you got -1 action total. So, which I think was honestly still a strong effect. I still think that could have seen play. Like I think people just instantly gave up on him after that.
Might even see an uptick.
I still liked him.
Silver with the time breakers because
time breakers
autonomous within 6. So
that actually is a really good point, Simeon. That could be pretty prominent with time break. Goodness gracious. But yeah, so this guy just rocked. So I loved him. He had some overpowered effects, of course, but just him being George Washington is just hilarious. I played a lot of patriotic like soldier teams, so I absolutely loved him. Dang though, he could be a really good counter in silver though. Man.
Yeah, depends on how prominent they end up being, but
yeah,
it's possible. I really liked the alter ego stuff in this set. I have to shout out Mary Jane spitting out paparazzis. I think anyone that played in this era probably played that a little too much, or just, quite often. I still think about playing that figure every now and then. She's autonomous. She makes 3 people who are autonomous, like just kind of insane stuff. But the figure that I liked the most out of this set was actually one that I sold out of my brick right away because he was going for a crazy amount, and I haven't gotten one back, but I have played it. So that's the Absolute Carnage. So he's kind of got the fan dial treatment where you can play him at 200, but then he also had 125 and a 60-point dial. And the best part was when you KO'd an opposing character of 25 points after or more, you could generate a Carnage minion in that square. So he made little minions and stuff, and he was just a big beat stick monster dude. He's very menacing, standing on that tombstone. Just a very cool sculpt, very cool. I would say character, but Carnage is kind of just he is a character, I will say. But as far as design goes, I really liked what he brought to the table with all of his insanity kind of stuff.
Next up, to begin the year of 2021, we had House of X. The sculpts were getting bigger. The boosters, a little more expensive. But yeah, the sculpt size was a huge, just, I don't know, quality of life change for Heroclix. The new size sculpts were just so much nicer and so much bigger than the old ones. They really rocked. And ironically, my favorite figure from House of X was a figure that helped pieces that didn't have sculpts at all. Yeah, Dr. Aaliyah Gregor, she just rocked.
Oh, yeah.
She just straight up said, yeah, dude, friendly characters, friendly bystanders, then 5 squares, modify combat values +1. She was 20 points, and I was like, oh, this piece rocks. Are you kidding me? This figure is awesome.
And you really
I played the heck out of her.
The other bystander figure in the set, right?
No, not for Bishop. If that's what you're saying.
Oh,
Definitely not for him.
Yeah.
Oh, Shard. Oh, you meant the super rare one. No, not at all. I literally never once played this super rare character, despite what other people might try to insinuate. I actually quite hated this piece. But Dr. Lee Greyer, she rocked, but no.
Yeah.
To name names, I hate Maggot.
Yeah. I remember playing
Ethan.
with Dr. Ali Gregor, putting her on quite a few teams, because and this was legal at the same time as Dark Phoenix Saga, right? They pushed back rotation.
It was, yeah.
There's a lot of shenanigans to be had there. My favorite from this set, gosh, pretty solid set, kind of a wonky set, because there was the new storyline stuff that was happening that no one had quite, I don't think, read up all the way on. I know I didn't, at least. But my favorite was probably Kate Pride, the super rare.
Yeah, there you go.
Phasing, sidestep, stealth, passenger 3, top dial. She had the Krakoan Revival, which, if you don't know what that is, we did a video on it way back when this came out. And then, you could generate a Lockheed bystander. Lockheed had Perplex for some reason. There's a little tiny flying dragon with energy explosion Perplex, so always fun. And I don't know why she was so expensive at release, but she was, and I'm glad that I pulled her because I really like giving X-Men and X-related kind of teams some sort of passenger, some sort of taxi, and it made sense for Kate Pride to do it, and I'm glad that she took her boat to the high seas for a set, I guess.
She was super fun. She was also the first ever version we had that was Pirate Kate, right? She was specifically she was cool.
This was the what was that run? No, not
Marauders. No,
Marauders. It might have been Marauders. When she took the helm of that title, it's this was when the Krakoan stuff was going at the beginning. Spoiler alert! She couldn't go through the gates, which Chase Krakoan. Or Chase Krakoa opens the portals or whatever. She couldn't go through the gates at the beginning, so she had to hit the high seas on a boat because that's the only option.
Of course.
Yeah, she's I can't go home. I know, I'll sail the world.
Yar. Future Foundation, next up. This is a set I actually bought a lot. I bought a lot of Future Foundation, mostly for gambling reasons. I really wanted to get, like, DJ Doom and just sell them and make money back.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was all about that in this era. So I bought 2 cases, and then I never got DJ Doom, but I eventually got, like, a Doom that was worth enough. I think, Conqueror. And then I sold him and bought another case. Still never got DJ Doom, but I never got Valeria Doom, and that was the most important thing. She was the worst, and she like had no resale value.
Yeah,
so
like
we still broke even on Future Foundation.
Opposite of return on investment.
Yeah, she was a little rough. But my favorite piece is the Red Ghost. I love Bystander Generation, and he could just make all of the super apes. So it was super fun. I really enjoyed them. They had some decent values, and of course, with Dr. Leah Gregor. Ooh, some were a 12 for 3, one was an 11 for 4, one was a 10 for 3, but like the fact that you could phase all the way up the map and then boop, make all these apes was just a ton of fun. So I played him a lot. He was really cool.
Yeah. I think my favorite out of this whole set, man, because I really loved the Marquis of Death. I loved Puppet Master. I loved a lot of like different like random little figures. Watu, like his mission point stuff going on.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
I have to go with Lord Doom for the opposite reason that Calder picked Red Ghost. I loved Lord Doom shutting down bystanders. Yeah.
Oh no.
I know, like when I played that Kokomo tournament, like that I mentioned slightly earlier. With WWE, I don't think there was a theme to that team at all. I think it was just like stuff that I wanted to play and like things that I knew would counter certain things. So Doom Swap was one of them, and I obviously always started with DJ Doom, but I remember swapping to Lord Doom a lot because then suddenly your maggot can't make eeny or meeny, and then what is he doing? He's probbing. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, you can pay 50 points or whatever 40 points for a prob, that's fine with me. But yeah, this was a decent enough set. Still like quite a bit of stuff that's replayable in it, and certain things that are banned, like Molecule Man.
Oh yeah, he is garbage, and I hate that it just kind of, you felt like you had to play that piece too, because everybody else was running him, so you had to at least play Molecule Man to counter their Molecule Man and give yourself also like a fighting chance. He was so dumb. Molecule Man was just insane. Wonder Woman 80th. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such an insanely good set. Like a fun sealed set, a set that to me brought insane levels of power creep and relevancy, especially at the higher rarities in this set. So it felt like a no-brainer to invest an insane amount of money in Wonder Woman. People loved to complain about the buy it by the case UPC thing, but that was literally just added value. That was literally just like, free Heroclix.
Yeah.
I guess $5 shipping. Like, it was wild that anybody ever complained about that. Like, I understand that it's technically behind a whatever paywall, blah, 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 blah. It was so annoying hearing them complaining about it, because this set just like was literally hand over fist. I made so much money off of Wonder Woman, it rocked.
Yeah.
So between
dude,
I think it was crazy.
It was like 4 or 5 cases. I don't remember exact, but it was a bad amount. And at the end of it, not only did I come ahead, I still had multiple chases. I had like 3 full CURs. I had multiple like super rares that I wanted to keep, like chips and stuff,
dude.
You know, like selling flashes for like $60-$70, whatever they like. That was just a super rare in my booster, and like that took care of like over half the price of the brick. Like, yeah, not even getting into like if you pulled one of the the Secret Six chases.
One of the Secret Six chases. Oh, dude, Sky Tyrant and the Commissioner just printed you money. If you pulled them, it rocked. But like all the super rare, like a lot of the super rares, shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them, Flash, Lex Luthor, Felix Faust, Chip, Green Lantern, were just like, okay, print money, super rares. The Wonder Woman with the sword, because she was a shared rarity with the Prime, was more money than the Prime at the time. It was crazy. She was insanely expensive because she was also the only way you could get the Wonder Woman sword. So it rocked. yeah, this set like literally just like printed money. It was so fun. If the legacy cards were like real legacy cards and not just all characters named Wonder Woman and had a bit more diversity. Otherwise, yeah, the legacy cards were like $5. It was kind of tough. The legacy cards were a bit of a bummer in this set, but everything
honestly,
else,
most of
man,
them, there was like only a few that were like, oh yes, I actually would have collected this one. You know, most of the time, like the legacy figures that they had for this were just like, I'm not. Like,
they were tough picks. There was, I think, the Superman and Wonder Woman that got a legacy. That was like the only one that I ended up keeping, just because I did like that version of the character specifically. The rest of them were just they were a little tough. I'm not even gonna lie, they were a little tough.
Cosmic Justice, like no.
Yeah, jeez. But again, this Wonder Woman set, it just rocked. I could probably choose a ton of figures, and I really can, but it has to be the Flash. I played him on so many teams. I played him nonstop. Ironically, I never really owned a Flash. I just borrowed him a lot. Again, it's about making those dollars, the cha-chang. But the Flash is just my number one. Big number two is like Chase, Red Lantern guy, and then followed by like Chip and Green Lantern and Lex Luthor. But like, there's so many good pieces in the set. And then as like a super fun like joke piece was Angleman. He was hilarious. I played like a team of all Anglemen once. It was so awesome. Yeah. He was just so funny.
The best part about him is he never ended up being relevant in any big way.
No, the Angler at least did.
Yeah, I guess he didn't.
He never did. Yeah, but the Angler, yeah.
No.
What was your favorite Wonder Woman piece? Dude, and all the introducing constructs. Wonder Woman
being like bystanders this time instead of just like power boosts and stuff. Mine, it was the degenerate Felix Faust. Like
that is so degenerate. That's such a degen pick.
It's almost as bad as Molecule Man, maybe as bad, especially nowadays with his insane 8 range, like on small maps, just shutting off like basically the whole map. But whenever I built a subpar team, I knew I could just throw Felix Faust on for 30 points and like suddenly have like an edge on like most people. It was kind of sad, but like no, it was definitely one of those pieces where if you weren't playing it, you felt like you were at a disadvantage because it's like, I want to be able to use my powers, and he's like, nope. Oh, you mean those powers I have my whole dial? Yeah, you don't get to use those. I rolled a number, so you don't get to use them.
Ugh. I hate him so much.
Yeah.
Next up is Rise and Fall. I honestly have nothing for Rise and Fall, so you can take the lead here.
Gosh, Rise and Fall. I really liked the team swap Magneto and Professor X, just because they added a layer of complexity to building that was unneeded, but I enjoyed it for what it was. The rare Exodus with his mind control and then deal my damage to you afterwards was really, really fun. And was there something that... Oh, Blackheart. Yeah, I played a lot of Blackheart. Still do sometimes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, 75 point, bringing in Hellfire Guards, KOing Hellfire Guards. Just a fun... Well, to me, he was like a fun version of what Blackheart does, which is like have minions that he can use to boost himself.
And then we end the year with Avengers, Fantastic Four, Empire, a set that was a Fantastic Four, an X-Men set, and an Avengers set, all rolled into one. It really dipped in each little, in each little cup here, in each little Marvel little universe cup. It was a pretty fun set. I think this one had a little too much captain sidekick stuff going on, because then a lot of the captains ended up being like kind of lame, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But this set famously has the Super Captain America, which could have been a perfect Captain America had he not had a just swap trait. I love the dial, but because he has that swap trait, he's not my favorite piece, because again, I think that's such a waste for such like a cool dial, and actually one of my favorite looks. I actually do like the kind of armored up look for Steve. But my favorite piece is the Ultron Pym. I absolutely loved Ultron Pym. He was just like a super cool prime where he punished you for like being on a theme team anytime you used prob. He was a pseudo fun mission point team. His mission point thing was pretty unviable, but it was still pretty fun to play. And then, yeah, he was just simple. It was just crazy how simple Ultron Pym was. And then he was just so insanely fun to play. Like, it was crazy. Where it's like, wow, super simple dial, no movement attack. He makes some bystanders. You can power action, pick him up. If he picks up each little infinity thing, he'll slowly, like, win off mission points. And then, yeah, his whole, like, stopping prob on, like, theme teams and everything, dealing them one unavoidable was just really cool. Like, he was just, like, a really simple piece that it was just a ton of fun to play.
Yeah. What a non-simple piece, but also fun to play, at least in my opinion. I really liked Koya. The plant man, the plant maker man. I really liked his mechanic. I loved... Yeah, it was only like casual ever like build, but I loved getting to 8+ plant markers and then just dealing tons of unavoidable damage to opposing characters. Like anyone that was adjacent or occupying, I think it was. And then you're also like popping out bystanders. You're doing all kinds of stuff. So in like a 500-point game where he's only taking up, 2/5 of your build, not too bad. And then shout out to decent enough chase set, just kind of wonky, kind of weird.
It was kind of random. Yeah, like a mix of Venom stuff and like alternate Avengers. Yeah.
Like Sorcerer Supreme Beast, one of my favorites.
It was cool.
Sorcerer Supreme Silver Surfer. Sorcerer Supreme, not really Sorcerer Supreme, but like, the Demon in Armor, Tony. Doom,
oh, yeah.
Like, cool versions. And then the Herald Thor, very cool, like sculpt.
Probably like one of the best sculpts ever. Yeah, he rocks. I love, of course, Ricky Barnes, Captain America cosplay Thanos. That was great. Oh, I better shout out the Captain America Legacy card, the one that I played a ton this past year and a half ish. He really grew on me this like last year, like started like 2023, end of 2022. Started really playing the heck out of this one. I gave this one such a hard time. I still think I like his effect more so than I like this Captain America as a choice for a figure that has a legacy. I wasn't playing during Ultimates. I don't think Ultimates like Cap deserved to get like a legacy card. I think that was kind of like a weird choice. And I still think it's a weird choice. But the fact that he was close combat expert and then just free make a close attack. So he was like a 12 for 4 with Avengers, was gnarly. So he was just really cool. I love Alpha Strike pieces like this, and he was just like a ton of fun to play. War of the Realms, Simeon.
Oh.
Wrecker 100% for me. Like I don't even have to think about War of the Realms. It's prime Wrecker all day, every day. He rocked.
Be the only thing that there's a few redeeming CUR pieces.
The Avengers CUR are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The Avengers CUR are fun.
Yeah, but I think Wrecker's the only thing that was like worth seeking out for me personally in this set. Gosh, is that no, I also used the recruiter Doctor Strange. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll say him. He was the recruiter was a like pull something from your KO area, or not KO area, was it? It was sideline. Pull something from your sideline.
Something in your KO area that was like, something from your sideline that's worth the amount of points from something in your KO area, or
equal or less, or
something like
something
that.
Like that. Yeah, and so the biggest thing was on a mystical team because he was the mystical recruiter. You could yank a Wendigo in for some 20-point piece dying or something, and they would just be randomly halfway across the map already because that's where Doctor Strange was. But no, those are the two that I actually played from this set outside of Sealed. I don't think I never played Destroyer Prime. I never got any of the chases from this set even. So yeah, I've played against the Spider-Man from this set plenty of times and the Rocket Raccoon.
Oh gosh, I played against that Time Gem Spider-Man so many times.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right, and then to finish out Silver Age here, Marvel Studios, Disney Plus. This set, I was insanely excited for this set. This was probably like close to one of my most hyped sets in like recent memory. I absolutely loved the Disney Plus set. I remember like going over like the character like set list when we saw like the poster. going over all like the Scott videos. Obviously, this is the set where Dial H finally got product from WizKids, so like that was super meaningful, super impactful. Being able to like finally open stuff early, that was huge, big milestone for us. Like that rocked. And a lot of that is to John Walker Captain America. Him and like US Agent, absolutely loved. I think they still have some of my favorite like dial design ever. I think for like accuracy to a show, accuracy to a character, and then just being really, really fun pieces to play. Whether it's like going out being more aggressive and trying to get a kill in really quick and giving up the points of the shield, and then just being a beast, or like hanging back, letting like little things on your team die, kind of coax your opponent into like doing that, and then being a beast. But then also like whatever, Prime US Agent could just full speed charge, which rocked. So they were just both. They're both kind of tied, but I think John Walker Cap edges out US Agent for who my favorite piece in the set was.
Yeah, and those are John Walker is probably like the best thing to pull in sealed. Because you got the shield
Had
with
to
him,
be.
and just he could walk through most stuff. Not walk through, because there's stuff like Prime Vision and whatever. But
Oh, that's
he could
true.
absolutely like be devastating to a team all on his own. Oh man, it is hard for me to pick because there's so much good stuff. But I think the Spooktacular was like my number one replayed kind of thing. That was all of like the. It was Wanda and Vision, and then like the kids all in like Halloween costumes, and Agatha. And out of those, it was definitely the Wanda, like 19 defend, prob,
She rocked.
and then if she probbed a friendly attack roll and they hit after actions, you removed an action token from them. I remember when we played sealed with this, I was probbing things that I already hit because I was like, if I prob this and hit again, I get to remove an action token, and that's like that was like some tempo control, like interesting kind of stuff. And then yeah, like full team of shape change mystics, heal if I hit shape change. Just like, are they hard to deal with? No, but like, are they annoying? Yes, they're very annoying. It was insane amount of fun.
That also, yeah. Oh, that old sub theme rocked. Do you want to try to finish out modern, or I guess depending on time, we could just jump into listener questions? What do you think?
I think, yeah, we got to get to listener questions now.
Let's jump to it.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Questions for the show. These are coming from our Patreon. If you want to ask us questions directly, you can go ahead and join Patreon for $5 a month. You get access to the Discord and a bunch of other cool stuff. Luke asks, if WizKids were to move the line forward for where Silver starts, what would be a reasonable set to move it to? Yeah, I think probably if you did it to a big rules change. So I think if you moved it to like the Mighty Thor, I think that would be fine. Because I think a lot of stuff pre the Mighty Thor doesn't really get played that much. Or honestly, you could, yeah, because at least that leaves in the Unimind and a few other things. Yeah, I think Mighty Thor could be a new starting line for Silver. I think that'd be okay.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that. Like, and then like in the future, I think
Eventually Wonder Woman?
Several years down the line, I think Wonder Woman, where Isles like were, I mean, who knows what the rules might be 3 years or 5 years from now or whatever. But yeah, in like 3 years, if the rules are mostly unchanged, then yeah, like having all Silver be in Dom and stuff would be nice. That'd be simplified.
Yep. Luke then asks, so is Theme like being left to the same fate as Skirmish? Yikes, Skirmish, what a throwback. As WizKids introduced more formats that can be supported, should they even be responsible for supporting all formats? I would like to think at least introducing a format that then at least gets a lot of player support is probably the biggest thing, or at the very least saying that, yes, we say this format is official, is cool. I think with the advent of Theme trying to like push playing a theme team kind of dies when Scott Porters exist, and a lot of people want to be playing themes anyways. I know that's still kind of keyword cheating and wouldn't be therefore allowed in Theme, but I feel like just maybe them noticing an uptick in people playing Theme anyways, that we don't necessarily need to have a format that is about playing Theme. And Theme was fun. Silver Theme was a blast. I actually wouldn't mind if just part of Silver's rules, it had to be theme, I'd probably actually really enjoy that because Silver is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It limited a little.
yeah, theme's just kind of in a weird zone. I think it's probably forgotten about at this point.
Yeah, as far as should they even be responsible for supporting all formats? No. Like I think when they introduce something, they should be responsible for like setting out decent rules and guidelines of like how to play, and then putting out like some sort of tournament or something where you could actually explore that said like format. But no, I don't think they should be like responsible for having to keep like the skirmishers up and alive, running, because at some point I think any new format might die off because of like lack of interest. Even 300 Modern may someday like fall to the wayside in favor of Silver, or like 400 something. Who knows? I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah.
Luke then asks, whatever happened to baby deep cuts? I honestly kind of miss them now. When they first came out, I was like kind of like, whatever. Kind of can give or take them. A lot of people probably won't paint them. I think maybe they realize the Heroclix community is not that crafty. We don't paint. I think the biggest allure to Heroclix is that they are unpainted miniatures. But I liked them as an excuse to get more versions of those characters with like new dials, and all you had to do is like just got a primed version of it. And now that I've kind of gotten into, at the very least, the painting aspect of Marvel Crisis Protocol, I wouldn't mind having some like Heroclix with some really cool sculpts that would be fun to paint in the game. So as much of a bummer it is that deep cuts, like, yeah, they aren't around anymore, I wouldn't mind seeing them come back. I actually would be pretty cool with alternate sculpts for characters with the switch clicks, especially when that is like a prize, a bidding prize for the Huntington's auction every year, where you get a switch clicks character, and now it doesn't feel like it's worth that much because you don't really get, there are no switch clicks characters anymore. So if at the very least bringing deep cuts back would bring back switch clicks, I would be all for that. But I do enjoy like painting some miniatures, so I think it'd be really cool if they have like fun sculpts to paint to bring back deep cuts. I think it'd be a nice, nice little fun little deal to do.
Yeah, it's weird because I enjoy painting and I never picked up any deep cuts. I just didn't have any like interest, because like I already, in most instances, I already had the sculpt of whatever figure it was, and I was just like, like I can just put a base paint over that figure from like the set. If it's like CUR or whatever, it's not something that I care if it gets a little messed up. Then yeah, I just like strip it or put a new layer on top, whatever.
Dennis asks, what would you hope to see in the legacy cards for Masters of Time? My number one is like Uncle Sam. Like more than anything else, I want Uncle Sam to get a legacy card so bad.
In Masters of Time, gosh, just like a random character that I wouldn't mind seeing get like its fair shake again, and it doesn't really make sense that he'd be all on his own, but Dawnbreaker, like I really loved that character when he came out. It wouldn't make sense for one Dark Knight and not like the whole chase theme or whatever, but and it wouldn't make sense for Time Masters. It just makes sense for me as far as like a DC character that I think needs a better revamped dial. All of them really did. When like they were released, they were high costed, but yeah. Is there anything that makes more sense off the top of my head? I don't know. It's just such a wonky like time travel thing. So, like, the only character in DC that I can say like I've read a comic where they time travel is the Flash, and so yeah, like we have we gotten a Legacy Flash? Maybe not. I don't think
we've ever gotten a legacy card for the Flash.
So yeah, maybe that one. That makes more sense for Time Masters.
Matt Reed asks, how would you design a Helldiver dial? Yeah, me and Matt have been Helldiving it up as of late, and it's been a blast. It's a ton of fun. Probably Helldivers get like 5 clicks of life. I don't think they should be much longer than that. They kind of die if you're not too smart pretty easily. You can let your guy die. But I think probably their biggest thing was like, how would you bring in stratagems? And I think the best way to do where you have to do little special inputs is probably just make it like a power action So maybe like how you get ready for a mission, you like choose your loadout, you choose your stratagems. Maybe you have like a stratagem deck, like a tarot card deck, and you choose like, what is it, 4 stratagems, and you like place those on your sideline or something, and then like once per game or once per X amount of uses, maybe each stratagem gets like 4 tokens or 3 tokens depending on the stratagem, right? And like that's how many uses you can do it. You can power action, or depending on how easy the stratagem is, like a free action to like bring those in. I think that'd be like the biggest thing, was like you set something off on your sideline. Those are your stratagems this game to use. Power or free action, bring them in, get their little effects, and then maybe they're like used or something after like you remove all their tokens. I think it's like an accurate way to do stratagems. And then I think the Helldiver can just be a little running shot, energy explosion piece, like he's a burst fire, like assault rifle or shotgun or like whatever. They should never have any real melee powers. Melee is pretty weak in that game, so probably keep them like running, gunning. Definitely get like improved movement character, something simple like that. Probably just a little running shot piece with like the advent of stratagems.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, now hear me out.
Okay.
Grenade pool.
Oh, there you go.
All your characters share a grenade pool, right?
All right.
And then we got like flashbang. We got like frag. Got
incendiary.
plasma.
Matt Reed loves his incendiary grenades.
I haven't played Helldivers. I watched a
like
little
that
bit of video of it.
It's pretty fun. It's a pretty dang
really
fun game.
it, but I do like the Gears of War and the Halo clicks that we got though. So I'd be down for some Helldiver clicks.
That armored look is pretty sick. Warburg Jedi asks, mechanics come and go each set, and each set seems to have its own gimmick. If you landed at WizKids today and it was your job, how would you approach this? For example, if a gimmick or mechanic was introduced, it should run for at least a year's worth of sets. Tarot cards are one set, but could lead themselves to more instead of becoming a memory. Honestly, with your example, I'm okay with tarot cards leaving, but I'm not going to get into that. I think some things, it feels weird when something is just one set and then it's never revisited. So I understand what you're saying there. I do think some mechanics are like, let's just introduce it for a set, see how well it does. You know, maybe we'll make them in the future. So I feel like, tarot cards being introduced, but I think a lot of people mostly like complaining about them or like feeling they weren't very Heroclixy. Probably just means like, okay, we're not going to make any more. We tried them once. Community didn't unanimously love them. So we'll just move something on, is what I kind of imagine. So when we get things like, what would we say? Like constructs, Wonder Woman 80. That was, I feel like unanimously, wow, people love these constructs. So then it took them until the next DC set, which is Batman Team Up, ironically, like they're very far apart, but that was the next DC set after 180. And then enough time was probably in between those two where they were like, okay, well, let's do them again. So that's probably why we got constructs again, right? So I think whenever there's like a gimmick, I think and this just seems like smart business to me, where do it for one set or one Marvel set, one DC set, however you do it, right? Like how ID cards were or something.
Like
and then see...
And,
like recruiters, like sidekicks, all that kind of stuff.
Captain, sidekick,
Kind of figure out, okay, what does the community think? And then by that time, they get made into a set that feels way off in the future, just because it kind of seems like sets just take a while to be made. So, I don't know. I think the way they're doing it is fine. Kind of like you make it once or a few times, see what the community says. They like it, they hate it, whatever. Learn from there, right? So I don't know. I don't think I would have too much of an issue with totally how things are being done right now. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it makes sense as far as like making gimmicks in a set.
Yeah. And I mean, like personally, there's a few that I'd like to see either come back or like happen more often, but yeah, I don't see like the metrics and the numbers, so like I have no idea why they make the choices that they do.
So I think captains and sidekicks could come back in a limited scope. I think there are certain characters that very clearly have iconic sidekicks, like Batman with the Robins, that never actually got made into captains and sidekicks. You know, so stuff like that, I wouldn't mind coming back if it was very specific, very narrow field versus, every little kid in Fufo is a sidekick, and every adult in Fufo is like a captain. Like that was a little ridiculous.
Remember when Taskmaster teamed up with the Future Foundation? Like,
yikes. That was
I don't.
There were some weird ones. So I think if they made them for a very specific window, I'd be okay with like that mechanic coming back. But yeah, the Megget asks, is stretching a scam invented by Big Jim? Yes, you should never stretch. You should do very intense, hard work, hard labor, run a marathon. You should lift very, very, very heavy weights. All these things. You should do it without stretching. Stretching is a scam. You should never stretch. No.
It's true. Then when your joints give out, like
yeah, that's when you know you are done exercising. When your joints give out.
Big Jim, like they lost out, but you know who won?
Yeah. Yeah, Big Jim, they just want you to keep stretching so that you keep feeling good, so you keep going to the gym. Yeah. So that's why it's totally a scam invented by Big Jim. That was satire. Please warm up, do dynamic stretching, do whatever stretching before and after workouts. Even if you don't work out, stretch. Yeah. Just stretch.
As someone who like has like a wide range of motion at their job, like there's definitely like recurring stress points and stuff that I like get into that I don't know how to stretch for, so I have to do all the stretches that I can think of. But yeah, I mean, I've never gotten into yoga, but there are a few yoga poses that are actually like pretty
makes sense,
comfortable and like stretch the back. And who doesn't like popping their back? Like that's so
fun.
It's the best.
It rocks. Alex the Enchanter asks, Kirby Iconics, which characters make the cut, and what do they do? As he holds this just massive stuffed Kirby. It's like 2-3 feet tall. It's big. It's really big. Yeah, like 2 feet tall Kirby. It's huge.
Diameter.
Yeah, he's round. Oh, he's thick. He's thick boy. I honestly don't know that many Kirby characters. So the only two I know is King Dedede and then Kirby. So I guess that would be my Kirby Iconics. One villain, one hero. That's all I know.
There's is it Metal Knight or Meta?
Oh, Meta Knight. Yeah, okay. I guess I know Meta Knight.
And then I don't know the name of him, but there's the guy that is the same shape as Kirby, but has like a yellow belly and is.
I don't know that one.
I have the whatever the N64 game is for Kirby. So
okay.
I think better than Kirby Iconics, we should just do like an OG Smash Iconics. I think that would
have to do so well. Oh, that would rock.
As far as what do they do? Well, Kirby obviously is like
he's got to suck people up and steal like powers, right?
Yeah, you like power action remove an opposing character from the map, and then Kirby can use their standard powers. Then like at the end of your next turn, he has to place them adjacent or something.
Yeah,
spit them out.
And then King Dedede's got to be able to like just wind up that big old hammer of his, smack you with the hammer. That's what that's got to be his game. Like very close combat expertise, sidestep, power action, make a big attack.
ABPI chase cap power where he just knocks.
Oh, dude, yes, I like that. Trusty Vault Boy asks, what were some things in the past episodes you thought were solid, or that were lackluster or aged poorly in retrospect? I don't know what this means. What were some things in the past episodes you thought were solid that were actually lackluster or aged poorly in retrospect? Like just talking about like figures and stuff?
Something we thought were solid, something that we thought was solid. There's been times where like I thought a figure would do way better than it actually ended up doing, or like during like set release. I think everyone does that a little, where like there's a lot of speculation. You're like, this seems really good, or the opposite, where we're like, this doesn't seem like that great, and then it gets played en masse.
Yeah.
As far as segments and stuff go, I don't think I ever like look back and think anything aged too poorly, other than even like our rules, like when we did like the rules, we tried not to get too deep into them because we knew they would change eventually, and then they did.
That is very true. That was tough.
Quickly, so
that was like almost instantly. That was so tough.
Yeah. So there's like stuff like that where it's like I don't look bad. Like I don't think it aged poorly. I think it just like is a product of an ever shifting game and a podcast that does like weekly news updates about said game. Like that's just how it be.
I agree. Sin Zin Data asks, what Deadpool Weapon X chases are going to be the best, most expensive, and sought after? Maybe the top 3. Ooh. I think like the best is like Deadpool and Elsa, Major Logan. Who would I say is like the third best? I should pull them up. I think Deadpool and Elsa, Major Logan. Maybe Deadpool hit Monkey.
I mean, I only say that because it's a long dial for 50 points, and they've got like, I don't know, they've got a lot going on for 50 points. Long dial, 12 for 3.
Yeah, I'll say them. We'll go with that. I think King Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone are instantly like the best chase. They're so insanely good. Then I think it's Major Logan. I think he's kind of that fringe to he has to be good, right? In my opinion. And then yeah, good Deadpool hit Monkey. I think there's some shenanigans to pull off on an assassin team. But most expensive, I honestly think it's going to be like King Deadpool, Elsa Bloodstone,
Phoenix Wolverine.
I think is going to be pretty expensive. Yeah. And then I think maybe then it's like Weapon X might be the most third expensive. Maybe ironically, Zombie Wolverine's not expensive I thought he was going to be. I really thought because zombies are popular and people like collecting the zombies and all that stuff, I thought he would honestly be more expensive than he is. But he's just kind of not. I think it's just because he doesn't do anything inherently like crazy broken or whatever. He's just kind of like a solid dial. So I think that's kind of why he's not crazy expensive. But yeah, so I guess those are probably for those two different versions, top 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think Deadpool and Death. Well, another thing that you should keep in mind when looking at chases, speculating on like really any figure, not just chases. If it's unique, there's a good chance that it's not gonna hit like a high dollar mark unless it's like also quite rare or just like counter example to that would be God Emperor Doom. He was unique, but he was also like the most sought after chase out of that chase set. Everyone wanted God Emperor Doom, so like he was obviously the one that everyone wanted, so he was more rare. But there's no reason to have 2 Deadpool and Deaths or 2 King Deadpool and Elsas. So it depends on distribution, and it depends on how important it is to have one, at least one, you know. But yeah, Major Logan, that's my pick, just because it's an awesome sculpt, awesome storyline it comes from. Love like the big Sentinel head. Yeah, love the power set.
I was able to trade for one this past week. I love looking at this sculpt. This sculpt rocks.
Oh yeah.
Luke asked, this will be our last question here. Pulp has banned Necron, Blackheart, and Mr. Sinister. Is there a team or figure that was buried by those 3 that you now feel stands a chance in Pulp? Yeah, any sense of creativity before, I think, was buried by those 3. I feel like you felt shoeboxed I feel like into playing those.
Blackheart especially.
Yeah.
Just without him there, I really think, what is it, the Poison Ivy, not the
there you go.
Iconics one, but the
rare
Poison
Notorious.
Ivy, I thought would pop off before the Iconics one did. That rare dropping the plants, the thorn vines. That seems like something that's still very good for 50 points. It was good with Medusa. It was good with all the other figures that did it like prior for around like the same point value. And with Batman Enemy, with characters that give Underworld taxis, like all that kind of shenanigan stuff. I think there's some room there. Was that technically buried by Necron or Blackheart or whatever? No, but I think just the idea of Blackheart, Orb, and Mr. Sinister definitely was like, I don't see how this crosses the map and does anything to that team before I get, crit mist / hit energy explosion.
I definitely think we see a bit of a resurgence for Falcon coming back. He was kind of pseudo replaced by Blackheart, just the fact that Blackheart can move out 2 people versus 1, even if it's not as far. So I think we probably see a little more Falcon since he's now like the only character that can do that big far placement type of a deal where someone can take an action after resolutions. But yeah, that will wrap us up for questions this week, and we are all set. If you want to go ahead and join the Patreon. Like I said, it's $5 a month to get access to our Discord, monthly giveaways, action tokens, all this cool stuff. All the Deadpool Weapon X action tokens are going to be going out very soon.
Yeah, if you want to pick up some Deadpool Weapon X, guess where it's live, where you can start getting those singles ordered.
Ooh.
And it's already too late for some of them. Some of them are already sold out. But that's at coolstuffinc.com, where you can find latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Use code DIAL-H. No. Use code DIAL5. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Use code DIAL5 to save 5% off when you order from coolstuffinc.com. And, let them know that we sent you. Pick up some of those singles. There's some pretty good stuff. I think they even still have some boosters and stuff available, so check that out. Or you can go direct to the source at shop.whizkids.com, where you can use code DIALH10 to save 10% off of some Heroclix products. We're not entirely sure, but we know it doesn't work on Iconics, doesn't work on pre-orders, some specialty figures doesn't work on, but might as well try it when you're there. Save yourself some money.
Absolutely. Next week, everybody, I want to make sure you are sending in a lot of listener questions, emails, things of that nature when you hear this. It's going to be a very special but a very bittersweet episode. It's going to be Simeon's last episode on the podcast. We'll have an explanation and everything as to why, so I know this will come as a shock for a lot of people. Trust me, it was pretty crazy. But I'm very, very happy with where Simeon is going and what he wants to do. And it's really awesome. So you'll learn more about that next week. But in that meantime, feel free to ask as many questions about old school Dial H stuff, behind the scenes Dial H stuff, anything you want to ask Simeon, tell Simeon, et cetera, et cetera. We would love to see a flood of that support come, towards Simeon and Dial H as a whole, because it was awesome. It was an incredible journey and ride and everything. So I definitely want to go out with a bang here as we kind of just like celebrate all the things that Simeon brought to the podcast and where he's going to be going. And it's really awesome. So make sure send in some emails, dialhforheroclix@gmail.com, or message us on the Facebook page, Dial H for Heroclix Podcast, or if you're on our Discord, questions for the show. That would be really appreciated, guys.
Absolutely. And just before any panic may set in for anyone, it's nothing bad. It's just, mostly don't have time. And anyone that reaches out, it'd be appreciated. We're gonna record an episode and talk a little bit, reminisce a lot, because it's been 5 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to say is that I'll still be around. I'll still be playing Heroclix. I'll still be showing up to some events, maybe not as often and as frequent as I did before. But yeah, this next week will be the last official episode that I'll be able to be a co-host of Dial H.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week for another great episode. And like always, happy trails.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional
Heroclix.
help.
We're not going there.
That's how numbers work. Over 6 people think I am funny.
I'm your Captain America.
That was just you in a costume. Well, the rest of this case doesn't matter at all.
I'm from Canada.